Fox Sports.
We are Black. We are NC.
The Major League Baseball season is a marathon, not a sprint. With highs and lows over the course of 162 games, the Royals take the field for the final time before the All-Star game. Looking to hit the break on a high note now on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. This afternoon from the K, it's the final game of this series between the Tigers and the Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physioc, Rex Adler with you. When this series began, it was billed as a battle between the first-place Detroit Tigers and the second-place Kansas City Royals. And in the first three games, the Tigers have won all three. What should the Royals' mentality be in Game 4?
They need to carry themselves with confidence now. Today's the day to be positive, to have your shoulders upright when you walk in that clubhouse, Fizz, and say hi to everyone and look around and keep it simple. Go out and look for your pitch and don't miss it.
Former Cy Young winner Justin Verlander will go up against the Royals today. His first 5, 6, 7 years, he had amazing success against Kansas City, but lately the Royals have gotten to him.
It wasn't just against the Royals. This guy was the world's greatest pitcher at one time. Kansas City has turned him into a kitten. That's right. They have raked him all ways you can. That fastball is just not the same as it was back then, and he's not locating it. Keep that same thing and make him exhale like that. It'd be a beautiful thing to see.
And as we take a look at his numbers, there it is. The first 25 starts, 15-2, last 8, 2-4. But the strikeouts are down and the walks are up.
Hard to figure. There's a lot of theories out there, but ever since he towed the slab here for the All-Star game in 12 and got lit up like a Christmas tree, he hasn't been the same since.
Well, the Royals will start Bruce Chen. And Bruce Chen has been an interesting story this year with so many injuries. When we come back, Joel Goldberg will tell his story about what the Royals expect from Bruce and the rest of the staff this afternoon.
Sports Kansas City. This afternoon, the series finale between the Royals and Tigers, live from Kauffman Stadium. What a long career it has been for Bruce Chen. 10 different teams, most recently with the Royals. Joel Goldberg back here at Kauffman Stadium. And as far as Bruce goes, he has been in the bullpen, he has been in the rotation, and today back in the rotation, filling in for Jason Vargas, who's on the DL with an appendicitis, having had that surgery this week. Our Academy Sports Leaderboard takes a look at Bruce and his contributions to the Royals since 2009. Most starts by a Royal, 110. Tops with wins, 46. Number one in quality starts, 50. And second in innings pitched with 695 and 2/3. Bruce has been involved in just about every role possible as a Royal. They hope to get 4 or 5 out of them, but if they need to go to the bullpen early, Yordano Ventura will be available. Next start not until Sunday with the All-Star break. Went 5 innings on Wednesday, so we could see Ventura in this one. But first up, it is first pitch, and Bruce Chen coming up next here at Kauffman Stadium.
By Chevrolet. Come in and visit the Kansas City area Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. By the Missouri Lottery. Try the new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. All day long, we'll be counting down our top 5 moments of the first half of 2014. So let's take a look at number 5. Hesitation on that one, and he got him off balance and pops it up. Escobar, though, has to make a long run. Did he make a catch? Oh, my goodness. Alcides Escobar makes the catch, and that is an outstanding play. We hope to see more of that from Alcides Escobar, who was very deserving of going to Minneapolis in the All-Star game, and his defense has been profound for Kansas City this year. The Royals at 47-46. They are the furthest they have been back from the Detroit Tigers, who have been on fire. Tigers winning 17 of their last 22, and they will go with Jackson, Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez, Hunter, Castellanos, Avila, Suarez, and Davis to face Bruce Chen.
Yep, and again, no Victor Martinez. So the Tigers have been doing all that damage without one of their best hitters. That's a good sign for their offense.
Arcia starting pitcher Bruce Chen, and Bruce hasn't made many starts this year. This will be just number 5, his first since April 24th at Cleveland. He missed 60 games because of back problems.
This is a perfect day for Bruce. Now, he's going to try to speed their bats up and slow them down. He's got great action on his curveballs. You know, hopefully he's able to keep the ball down in the ballpark. But, you know, Bruce just has to go out and be Bruce. If he does that, he could upset their timing. He might be the right call. Defensively, why not highlight Bruce since it's Bruce's day? 25 pickoffs now. If those guys get on, Brad Ausmus's Tigers, they run. They're a stealing team, so it's nice he's got a good move. Brett Hayes is going to try to help him out the best he can behind the plate. No Salvador.
Bruce turned 37 years of age on June 19th. This is his 12th year in the major leagues, and Joel chronicled all of the teams he's played for in the past. His 20th year in pro baseball, and he will face a red-hot Tigers team. Austin Jackson will lead things off. He's batting .253, and then you get the hot guys in Kinsler, Cabrera, and Martinez and Hunter.
Austin Jackson has really stimulated this Tigers offense in every game. He's swinging that bat now, and that really makes a big difference in this lineup when they get him going.
Particularly in that first inning, and he bloops one towards right. It will drop fair.
He does it again.
And that's the 3rd time in the 4 games that he has a single, a double in the first inning. Our umpires, the crew chief Bill Miller, will be behind home plate this afternoon. Then Adam Hamari is at first base, Chad Fairchild at second, and Vic Carapazza at third.
Thursday night's game, the Tigers did exactly what they're doing now. Jackson got on, Kinsler came up, and he rolled a hit and run through the right side. Previous pitch before that, he tried to bunt. So early, they're trying to play small ball. See if it happens again.
Each time that Jackson has gotten on in the first 2 games, Kinsler has followed with a hit, whether it was a single that you talked about in the hit and run hut or a double. In the first couple of games, we had a wind coming out of the southeast out towards left field. Today, the wind is blowing across from left towards right, so it'll help a lot of the left-handed batters. And the Royals do have a lot of lefties in the lineup today, facing Justin Verlander.
Just by looking at Kinsler's last swing, he's trying to dump the ball into right.
He will get a lot of those, a lot of pop-ups, a lot of check swings, a lot of frustrated looks if he's having a successful afternoon.
It's a fly ball pitcher. You're going to steal off Bruce, you steal on first movement. The minute he lifts up his foot.
Another foul ball struck, and the count remains 0-2. Well, Bruce gets by even with one of the lowest average fastballs in baseball. And I'm talking about what he averages. He'll go between 82 and 88 miles an hour. But overall, it is his average speed is 84.1. And knuckleballer R.A. Dickey is number 1. And then Mark Burley, who has precise command, 83.5.
In this modern game, you're seeing 95 miles an hour almost every night. Guys that power pitchers that you're seeing how strong. Bruce offsets the timing because he can pitch under their bats and above them with that kind of speed. In and out. He'll work all 4 quadrants, but he's got to be able to keep the ball down. And the ability of changing speeds and with not such great velocity is what makes him effective when he's on.
And Rex, a lot of times you'll think if a guy has a below average fastball, he must keep it down. But we've seen Bruce come inside and outside and get guys off balance.
Yeah, especially against righties. got to be able to pitch inside, knock him off the plate. Can't let him too comfortable in there.
Kinsler a little late on his swing. Not only is his fastball below major league average, but so is his curve, his slider, and his changeup.
A lot like Tommy John towards the end of his career. Got lefties that once were power pitchers, and they turn into finesse pitchers. And you're able to make a living if you locate.
Well, he finally got him to pop up in fair territory, and Infante drifting out in shallow right field. Last year he played second base for the Tigers. This year for the Royals, and Ian Kinsler is the first out.
Even if you're a finesse pitcher or a power pitcher, you still got to be able to locate. Doesn't matter. Big league hitters are trained to hit the half-inch to an inch mistake.
Well, this is a guy who does it quite well, and he's had great success against Bruce Chen. .410 average at 5 home runs. Miggy overall, his numbers have gone up in the power department. Last year he had 44 home runs and drove in 137, not on pace for the same home run totals.
See, Bruce is just up enough out of that zone to be effective.
So Cabrera takes a shot at right field, and he has tremendous power the opposite way, and we told you the wind blowing out towards right. Miggy only 31 years of age, but in his 10th major league season. He was in the World Series in his rookie year with the Marlins and helped them win. Up and in.
It's a good pitch. He's gonna have to be in there to stay successful.
Foul off.
And he knows it. You can't just be laying stuff up there, and he's not so far. He's really hitting the spots.
Jackson dumped a single to right. Kinsler popped up on the second base side. Infante took care of it. And now Cabrera down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sidearm. Fouled back.
Bruce, he'll create as he goes along. A lot of veterans do. We've seen Guthrie alter his delivery and his arm slot and the big slow curve that he throws, and Bruce will do the same thing. Cabrera has grounded into a team high 12 double plays.
Bruce more of a fly ball pitcher than he is a ground ball pitcher. Well, there's one. Escobar, a 6, a 4, and a 3.
That's from pitching inside. Nice first inning, Bruce. Roll them over. Little ham and eggs to go. Thank you.
back and healthy. He missed 18 games on the disabled list because of a left groin injury. And our Midwest Ford dealer starting lineup, Aoki will start things. Then Infante back in the 2 spot. Hosmer red hot with a 12-game hit streak, and Billy is back hitting fourth.
That's right. It's because of the numbers that they have off of Verlander, and hopefully this is the lineup that can give them a win heading into the break.
Verlander this year 8 wins, but a rather high ERA in 19 starts, and you can see what opponents have done against him from the right side. His career against KC very strong, but as we showed you in the open, not as great lately. And the Royals beat him last time out in June when they took 3 of 4 from the Tigers.
Largely the numbers are elevated from the right side because his fastball, it does not have the velocity that it once did. So if you're down velocity, you got to make sure you locate. It's the same way with Bruce. Same keys are for Verlander. He's got to be able to power down in the zone, hit his spots. Got a nice big curveball, slider, changeup. He'll mix them all in. 2 and 4 seam fastballs. Probably 93 at max. We might see a 94 in there.
Aoki foul.
Like Bruce, also Verlander has to be able to command the inside part of the plate. He's got to be able to get the hitters off. Now hitters are looking more for his curveball now. You know, he can hang it.
In the past, the curveball has been terrific, and this year opponents only batting .210 against his curve. But the command has not been as sharp. And the walks, we told you, are up this year. Almost 4 per 9 innings.
Justin knows he's got his hands full today.
The first game was a blowout. The next 2 were very close, but the Royals lost both of them by scores of 2-1 and 5-1. And there is a fly ball struck to right center field that J.D. Martinez will run down for out number 1. Well, in 2011, Justin Verlander won not only the Cy Young but the MVP, going 24-5. But his average fastball was almost 96 miles an hour, and opponents only batted .218 off him. Look what's happened, Hud. 2014, the velocity has gone down, and opponents averaging .307.
There's a lot of different theories about that, but he's got a lot of miles on him. He's pitched a lot of innings. And some of those innings in his younger days, you know, he was throwing, you know, close to 100 miles an hour when he first started, and that'll catch up to you. So what pitchers do when they lose a little velocity, you just become a pitcher. You're not a thrower anymore. You start learning how to change them speeds and get guys out with some finesse. That's what he's going through right now.
Facing his former teammate Omar Infante, who got him last time up and hit a 3-run home run, which pretty much knocked him out of the game. He had the lead going into the 4th inning, and the Royals scored 7 runs their next 2 innings off of Justin. And that ball hit slowly to third. Castellanos has it and throws out Omar. 2 away.
Tigers defense. How about that? Verlander gets highlighted along with a couple of the all-stars there. Kinsler got in. 4 errors this season. Tells me he likes his pickoff move as well. Some of the Royals pitchers like theirs, and sometimes you miss. He's got quick feet if anybody gets on.
Well, now he will take on the hottest Royal, and that is Eric Hosmer, with a career-high 12-game hit streak going. Because of his excellence in the month of July, Oz has upped his average to 268. One ball, 1 strike.
One of the reasons Hosmer's having success is he's doing just what he did there. He's being selected.
Yeah, he has 8 walks during this 12-game hit streak.
Yeah, there you go. And those walks are important. Make him throw you strikes. Good located pitch. Verlander had the ability to go from 91 to 98. and he could throttle up and throttle back and really give fits to the hitters before. But now he's not seeing he's not seeing that type of velocity, so he's got to stay around, the low 90s.
Eric with an emergency swing was too close to take, so he just went for it, fouled it back.
Just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
On Thursday, Eric hit a laser line drive over the right center field wall, and he slashes that one foul. At first, Rex, they were trying a little bit of everything because Eric was a little late with his swing, was fouling balls off the left side. They were having him swing early, and now he just is relaxed. He's just seeing the baseball, and as you said, he's swinging at better pitches.
But can't you tell by looking at him and his body language how comfortable he is? This is a hot hitter. You can see it in him.
Verlander's working him inside,
trying to get him to swing up in the zone.
They're playing Eric with a slight pull on the infield, but the outfield is playing him towards left, just shading him slightly. Goes with the off speed, and it's a 2-2 count.
12 for 49 off Verlander is Hosmer with 1 homer in his career. .245 average.
Rex, is this one of those situations where if you're Eric Hosmer, you're saying, I don't want the All-Star break to hit because I feel so good?
Exactly. There's a lot of guys like that are hot, and so goes teams. Some teams are hot right now. They don't want to shut it down, but that's just the way the game is.
What would you do to maintain your consistency during the break?
Find a swimming pool or a lake. Find a fishing pole.
Get away from the game.
Chillax. Got a really nice at bat going here.
Verlander had him down 1-2. Hosmer fighting off several tough pitches,
waiting for a cookie,
and he hits it backhanded. Kinsler throws him out, and Verlander with a 1-2-3 first inning. All-Star game. Tuesday night, baseball's best gather in Minnesota for the All-Star game in what promises to be an unforgettable night. Special coverage begins at 3:30 on Fox Sports 1, followed by the 2014 All-Star Game Tuesday at 6:30 on Fox.
Can't wait.
JD Martinez will lead things off, and he takes low and inside from Bruce Chen. I use the term sleeps because my granddaughter Taylor's in town, and when she's excited about something, my daughter, her mom says, well, we're only 3 more sleeps until we see Pop and Yaya.
It's a great way to count it out.
There's a base hit to left field by JD Martinez, and he stays hot, hitting over 420 now in the month of July. What a great story he has been for the Tigers.
And he's showing that he's a great hitter, even though I try to use that term lightly and only use it when it pertains. And here's one of the reasons why. On Friday night, he struck out 4 times, and he had a tough game. Fouled a ball off of himself, and that hurt him. And he comes back and he's just started over from scratch. He says, all right, I'm just going to get a couple of base hits to right field and keep it simple. And he did that. Got a couple of base hits to right field, and yesterday, then he said, okay, I'm locked in now. Got a couple bases to right. Now I'm going to hurt you. And he did. Made a deposit over that Sprint Family's plan sign out there.
Yeah, it was a close game until the 9th, and Tigers scored 3 and won it 5-1.
He's able to make adjustments. He's able to he understands that he's going good. So is this guy, Torrey Hunter.
Hitting .439 with 3 home runs his last 10 games. He added a great deal of leadership in that clubhouse when he was signed after being with the Angels for so many years, and that ball is struck to center field, and Dyson will make the catch. Well, as we take a look at the all-star starters, and of course the Royals will have one. He is our catcher, Salvador Perez, who is taking this afternoon off. Had almost 1.2 million votes. Matt Wieters was scheduled to start, but he is injured and done for the year. Cabrera, Cano, Jeter, and Donaldson around that infield. Bautista, Trout, and Adam Jones. And of course, Gordon was selected, can't play because of the injury, but Greg Holland will be there for the 2nd straight year.
So great to see Salvador down there, quarterback in that all-star game. The world shuts down and watches the game. Can't get on a bigger stage than that.
Yeah, he is the Royals' first starter since that 2000 season with Jermaine Dye, who had that excellent start. And there is a fly ball struck to the right side. Aoki will take care of Nick Castellanos, and there's 2 out. Hey fans, it's time now for you to tweet your photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T. And Rex, we were down with the fans in the Diamond Club on Friday, and I don't know how many photos that you took with fans down in that Diamond Club. They wanted to see the Wonder Dog. They wanted to see who's the driver of the bus.
Well, they know it's not me, but I'm going to tell you, that was a great experience. To be able to broadcast at field level, seeing that foul ball coming back to the screen and raising your hand because it's coming right at you. It's a whole different ball game down there. Not to mention the food they serve.
Oh. We had the best barbecue and hot dogs. I know I asked for a veggie dog. I was major kidding. And had a ton of mustard and relish on mine with some sauerkraut.
How about that green tea you ordered up?
We had fun with that too, didn't we?
I've never had a veggie dog. I'm still waiting for one. Fans were great.
They sure were. And it was a great crowd, and we hope to send the Royals to the break in a winning way this afternoon. The Royals at 47 and 46, 7.5 games back of the Tigers. But remember, fans, the Royals are chasing 3 spots, not just the American League Central Division crown, but also 2 wild card spots. They just want to make the postseason any way they can. Well, he broke his bat, ground ball deep short, no chance to get anybody. It'll be an infield hit for Alex Avila, and that's the way things have been going for the Tigers. They're doing everything right. They're getting bloop hits, they're getting blasts, and when they break their bat, this happens.
Yep, an effective pitch. Jam shot would have pulled over like that minute contact is made. Avila knows. See, 1, 2, 3 fielders over here, so any of that kind of can get in there, and that's exactly what he did. Fought it off. It took his lumber, but hitters would gladly exchange a broken bat for a knock any day.
Well, the Royals are looking for that mojo they had in the month of June, where they won 15 of 20. Meantime, Detroit has won 17 of their last 22, while the Royals have gone 8 and 14 in that span. 4 of those losses have come to the Tigers. The last game in Detroit and the first 3 here. Here is Suarez, the new shortstop. Bruce has done a good job upsetting the hitter's timing. Strike on the inner half.
Tigers 285 with runners in scoring position. Strong number.
They have 3 hits, not one of them well struck. And another pop up to the right side. Aoki should have it. He's there. Makes the catch, and Bruce with 2 shutout innings. Ventura, who's been a starting pitcher throughout this year, jogging out to the bullpen. Everybody's available because they have so much rest. Ned Yost said the 2 guys he would likely stay away from who have been overworked lately are Aaron Crow and Kelvin Herrera, but everybody else pretty much available.
Yep, there's a term out there that players use whenever everybody's available called Johnny Allstaff. That's who's pitching today, the whole staff. So, but Bruce so far looks great.
Now it's Billy Butler, who has absolutely incredible numbers against Justin Verlander. .434 average with a couple of home runs. And when you ask him, he says, I have no idea why I've had success against that great right-hander. Ball 1.
Anytime you hit 400 off a guy, you know, that's getting close to saying, I own him. And especially with the amount of at-bats. 76 at-bats coming into this one here against Verlander. 33 hits, 2 homers, 14 ribbies.
Butler had a rough stretch in late June into early July, but getting that batting average up. .348 last 7 games. He had a home run off Drew Smiley earlier in this series on Thursday.
Sure is good to see. They need his production in the worst way. It's as simple as being comfortable. He said that I have to keep things simple. Sometimes when you DH and you only hit, you don't play any defense, you overanalyze. You start thinking about little things here. Well, if I do this or do that, he says, just keep it simple. I got to keep it simple, see the ball and hit it. Sometimes hitters need to keep it simple. Don't overthink. It's a game of reaction. Staying loose, being comfortable as a hitter before you swing the bat so you can react quicker. Be loose, hands loose on the bat. Get a little movement going.
Verlander strikes out Billy Butler for the first out of the second inning.
Great spot. Good pitch. Little slider there, right under the bat.
Justin won his last start but got a lot of support. 14 runs of support when they beat the Dodgers 14-5. He allowed 5 runs in the first innings on 4 hits, including a home run by Juan Uribe, so they're down 5-0 right away, and his offense said no problem, we'll give you 14.
Yeah,
that'll win you a lot of games. You get 14 runs of support.
Believe that.
Moose has been able to pick his average up. He's 1 for 8 in his series, though. Had a good road trip. Hit a couple of home runs in Cleveland.
6 for 41 off Verlander with 1 homer.
Center field, Jackson has it measured, and that is out number 2. It is time for our Sprint Framley question of the day. Who was the last American League catcher to be named MVP of the All-Star game? Was it Sandy Alomar Jr., Joe Mauer, Jorge Posada, or Ivan Pudge Rodriguez? Text ABC or D to 432-432.
That one right there is interesting. I want to say Ivan Rodriguez. I don't know. Do you have a guess?
You know, I was thinking Sandy Alomar, because I remember he had a marvelous game in one of the All-Star games that he played in, but I just can't remember if he was named MVP that year. Two outs for Raul Ibanez, trying to break an 0 for 23. Salvi not playing today, even though he has great numbers against Verlander. And when asked, Ned Yost simply said Salvi's played 27 games in 29 days. He needs a rest. We know he'll be heavily worked during the All-Star break, they call it, but for him, he's going to Minneapolis, and that's always a lot of activity, a lot of family.
Don't kid yourself. If that man right there, Salvador Perez, couldn't walk away with an MVP next week, he could be the bus driver in front of the world.
Popped up left side, long run for the shortstop Suarez, but he's able to get there, and that will end the Royals' second. So Verlander looking sharp early, 2 perfect innings. still looking for our first run between the Tigers and Royals. Let's now go to Joel.
Well, Fizz, the All-Star break obviously is here, and a nice contingent, 3 players for the second straight year, but that will not compare to 1982, July 13th, the largest ever for the Royals. 5 different Royals were named to the American League All-Star team. George Brett was voted in as the starter. He went 2 for 2 in the game. Also going with him, Hal McRae, Dan Quisenberry, Frank White, Willie Wilson. Quiz pitched 2 innings in that game. Add in the fact that manager Dick Hauser and Mickey Cobb, the trainer, were there. They had 7 that went north of the border to Olympic Stadium in Montreal. The National League won that game 4-1.
The Big O. Hey, did you notice the stirrups, Joel?
Always notice the stirrups, and I know that place up there, Hud, special place in your heart, the Big O. I went to games up there as a kid too. Great spot.
You gotta believe it. That's a wonderful picture. And maybe in a short year to come, maybe 2, there could be some more bunch of Royals on that team like that. They've got a lot of talent here. Look at Bruce doing all he can to stay out of the zone, and he is. He's making them swing on his terms.
Salvi the starter this year. We're hoping he has a big game on Tuesday along with Greg Holland. We told you Alex Gordon will not play because of the wrist injury. One of my favorite stories about the All-Star game was about the last time it was in Minneapolis, and the Detroit Tigers had a great second baseman by the name of Lou Whitaker. Fouled off by Davis, and he left his entire uniform in the car as he was going to take his flight to Minneapolis, forgot it, and he could not figure out where to get a uniform. So he's at the ballpark and he calls back and he realizes this is only a few hours before the game, and he says, can anybody Federal Express it? No, it's too late now. So he actually went into the stands, went to one of the team stores, found a small Tigers jersey.
No way.
Yes, and he wrote his number on the back with a Sharpie. He borrowed a glove, had to borrow everything, but he also had to buy in the team store a Tigers baseball cap that, you know, is adjustable in the back as Moustakas throws it away, and Davis will reach to lead off the third. But I thought that was one of the funnier moments in All-Star game history.
I don't think I've ever heard that story.
Sparky Anderson told it to me.
Oh man, that's a beauty. Now so is this. If you're Rajay Davis, you got good speed. Now an accurate throw looks like it would have gotten him, but Moose did a nice job of picking the ball up with both hands. I thought he was going to barehand it, but he went down and made sure he caught it, and the throw just got it away from him.
So he will be given a hit. So then the Tigers have leadoff hits in all 3 innings, and not one ball has been struck well. Jackson's was a bloop to right. Martinez seeing a base hit in between the shortstop and third baseman. Alex Avila broke his bat on an infield hit, and now Davis with an infield hit, and the batter is Austin Jackson. Jackson 7 hits in this series and 15 times up.
Hitters have a term that they use when a guy throws soft. Throw it soft, we'll hit it soft. And that's what they're doing. Tigers are just finding holes.
Bruce,
they haven't blistered a ball hard off of him yet.
Nope. And as you said, he has one of the better pickoff moves with 25 in his career.
Able to run. He's got 24 bags.
Swung on and missed by Jackson.
.24 stolen bases. That leads the Tigers team. He's been caught 8 times.
The Astros, Altuve leads the American League with 41.
Bruce also makes it hard on runners because he'll hold the ball for 2 counts and then he'll come home. The next time he'll come set and go home right away. You know, quick pitch, he varies his time, and that keeps the runner from getting a good break.
Davis does not go, and Jackson fouls it off. advantage Chen. And don't miss Faith and Family Night at the K. It's presented by Hobby Lobby on Saturday, July 26th. The Royals host the Indians, and the event will feature post-game appearances from select Royals players, as well as testimony from Scott Dawson of Safe at Home, and performances from contemporary Christian musicians KJ 52 and Matthew West. Your ticket to the game now includes admission to the post-game program, and for discounted tickets and event information, visit royals.com/faith. Right now, Bruce Chen at 38 pitches, and manager Ned Yost said he'd let him go 75 to 95 because he did have that extended rehab.
Look at that. Perfect ball to pitch in there. 3 inches off the plate. Backed him off. Some pitchers need regular rhythm every 5th day to be successful, but not Bruce.
Now it's 3-2 after being in front 1 ball 2 strikes. Does not want to walk Jackson, who has shown good discipline this year. 31 walks, because then the hot hitters Kinsler, Cabrera, Martinez would follow. This is not a lineup you can give any free passes to. Davis likely will be going, and Bruce thinking that way. And again, Bruce goes to first, and Davis goes back standing up.
Austin Jackson, he's got 76 strikeouts. That leads. Let me see. I was going to say Noah Vila's got 84, but he's got a high number of strikeouts, so it could be a strike him out, throw him out if Bruce can give Hayes a good pitch.
That time he kind of jerked where he didn't read Chen's move very well, Hud. So were you thinking that they might be reluctant to send him because of the high total of strikeouts?
It's possible. That's in the manager's mind always.
He goes, and the pitch is lined to center field, and Dyson has to play it in a hop. Davis with a great read and goes all the way to third. I think Rajay said, well, if he catches it, I'll be doubled off, so I might as well go.
Makes Jackson 8 for 16 in the series. Now, Rajay Davis, again, seems like he's head athletic trainer's going to come out and take a look at it. But you're right, Biz. It was a really nice read. He's going to stop if he thinks Dyson can catch the ball and get back to first base. But sometimes when you're down there on that level, the playing field, you know, you can see that a little easier we can from up here.
The Tigers have had their share of injuries. They lost Bruce Rondon, their setup man, earlier this year, and their shortstop Iglesias, and also outfielder Andy Dirks, but they've just been able to replace them either with guys who were waived by other teams or from within.
It looked like right before he got to second base, he pulled up just a tad. Now, I don't know if that was to read the ball or because he felt something in his leg.
And Jackson always a threat to go. He has stolen 8 bases this year. The Royals, of course, don't have Perez behind the dish. Hayes is a capable catcher, but Perez is the best in the American League defensively, particularly throwing out runners. So Jackson with 8 hits in this series. A little pop up, and Chen will pull it down. I'm not sure if he had a chance to call for a fair catch, Hud.
That is some athleticism from the old man. That is beautiful. He's in the game. Bruce is competing. He's treating this like this could be his last start. that's how you want to perform every day, even if you're young or old. It doesn't matter. But look at it. He waved him off. He was so confident he was going to catch it. And he had to run up and back down the slope of the mound. There was a degree of difficulty in that play. And pitchers normally don't feel the ball after they throw it on something like that.
Well, he enticed Cabrera to hit into a double play to end the first. And now Miggy goes high and deep to left center. Ibanez at the wall will pull it down. Tagging at third is Davis. He will score in the sacrifice fly. And you're right, it is and quite frankly, if it's Friday night when the wind was roaring out about 10 to 15 miles an hour towards left, that may have been a home run. But this afternoon the wind is blowing in from left and may have kept this one in the yard.
One's better than three any day.
Martinez singled his first time up. He takes outside, so 2 outs, a run home. Cabrera only has 2 hits but 5 RBIs in this series. He's been getting them on sacrifice flies and groundouts. The Royals have never led in this series, and this is game 4. They lost 16-4, 2-1, and 5-1. Outscored 23-6 in the series thus far. They will open after the break on the road at Boston and Chicago.
It's not an easy job for first base umpire Adam Hammery. He's looking at Bruce and left-handers and make sure his foot doesn't cross the plane and have a balk move. So each time Bruce gets ready to throw the ball home, I've been watching Adam Hammery, and he moves to make sure he gets a good look at it.
He was able to get it in on Martinez, and all he could do is foul it back for a 3-2 count.
Okay, there's the plane right here. He's got to either go this way or he's got to come to first base. And it's again umpire's discretion.
Where he's trying to pound J.D. Martinez in. This guy's so hot. Hitting over 420 in the month of July. He rolled one in between third baseman Moustakas and shortstop Escobar first time up. Got him to pop it up. Shallow left center field. Long run though for Ibanez. Will he get there? No, he won't. And a run will score.
Escobar lost it. He was back there on it. And with the ability that Escobar has on those, that's a routine out for him, but he just lost it. Ibanez did all he could to get in there, but see, Escobar, he didn't know where it was. Just some buzzard luck right now.
Yeah, there was a moment in the series at Comerica where the Royals were getting every single break, and Denny Matthews, the longtime broadcaster, came into our booth and said, "This is officially ridiculous." I think it was after Gordon's ground ball was off their bag and they get the force at second base. But for Detroit, they've been getting all the breaks. They're a great team as well, but their play is now officially ridiculous. sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat, and through the Kids with Courage Foundation, Janet has been painting and decorating wooden crates called Crates Full of Courage for all newly diagnosed children and young people with type 1 diabetes at Children's Mercy. For 5 years, Janet has created bundles of encouragement full of comfort and support items and essential tools. And you talk about a woman who works tirelessly. The Lee Summit native personalizes each box for the kids with themes like baseball, soccer, and cartoons.
Don't you know everyone needs encouragement?
Yep. We salute those who encourage others. It's his birthday. Came to the K to see Eske play, and here is Eske up. Rolls one back to Verlander. 1 out. Hey, come watch Royals baseball with the ones you love most on Sunday, July 27th for Mother's Sunday at the K. As part of this special ticket package, you'll receive a limited edition Royals cap and a commemorative framed photo. You can only receive these items if you purchase the Mother's Sunday ticket package. So visit Royals.com/family now to learn more. Dyson, the batter, he had 2 hits on Thursday, but 0 for 3 in each of his last 2 games. He takes ball 1. Royals looking for their first base runner.
How about a hit?
Any way to get it started. Detroit has played flawlessly and gotten the breaks in this series, and the Royals have not played well offensively and not gotten the breaks. I mean, they got great pitching performances the last 2 days from Danny Duffy and from James Shields. Unfortunately, both in losses because KC's offense could not score. They've scored 2 or fewer runs 10 times in the last 22 games. That's the stretch where the Royals went 8-14 and the Tigers went 17-5 to open up their biggest lead over KC this year at 7.5 games. Strike 3 called. Dyson thought it was ball 4, but Verlander gets strikeout number 2.
Looked away. And it just caught a little bit of the plate. Bill Miller gave it to Verlander. Sometimes borderline pitches, you know, if you're not just trying to hack up there and foul it off, they'll send you back.
Salvador Perez, we told you, getting the afternoon off. He'll be heading to Minneapolis in the All-Star game. It will be on Fox on Tuesday. Brett Hayes getting the start, and he hammers one deep to left center field and it's off the wall. So Hayes will get to second base with a 2-out double, and that's the Royals' first base runner and first base hit of the afternoon.
Didn't have enough height to get out of the yard, but he barreled it, no doubt. You can tell by the sound. And hitters, they're not going to miss that spot, that cookie. There it was, hardly any vibration. You see how that he rolled his wrist after the swing. Let's hear it. Oh my. And that's where the term knock comes from. Doesn't that sound like a knock? Hitters, babe, 100 years ago, they've been saying that in baseball as long as it's been invented.
Aoki, we'd love to hear that sound coming off that bat. Nori with a couple of hits on Friday, 2 for 8 now in the series. He flied out to right his first time up. And he faced a really good pitcher on Friday in Anibal Sanchez and had 2 solid hits, single and then the double. Royals had take him off that rehab assignment down in Northwest Arkansas after the injury to Alex Gordon. He only saw 10 ABs in Northwest Arkansas. Two and 0.
Aoki, he has the ability to hit that ball all over the field, and recently we've been seeing him pull the ball more. I think he went down with a game plan down in AAA and tried to drive the ball on balls in middle in. He's had 18 homers over the last couple of seasons. He's got enough pop, but just hadn't shown it here.
And now a 3-0 count to Aoki with former teammate Infante next. I'm expecting Omar to take here. Or he does take, and it's ball 4. So Verlander will get the right-hander matchup he wants with Omar Infante. He pitched Aoki very carefully.
Left-handers, they're not hitting as good as righties are off Verlander. Lefties only hit 242 with 5 homers. Righties 332 with 7 homers.
And Omar didn't have much success against Verlander until that one start back on June 16th. Verlander gave up 7 earned runs in 6 innings, and Infante hit a 3-run home run in the 5th.
Infante has 9 RBIs against the Tigers this year.
And 8 in that one series. Just a little comebacker to Verlander. That will do it. Well, we've been counting down our top 5 moments of the first half, and here is the number 4 moment of 2014. And there's a shot to left field, but will it be deep enough in the corner? It is gone! A home run by Salvador Perez, the All-Star. Royals baseball is brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park, and by your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit us at yourmidwestforddealers.com.
How about those? They're back. Flowers surrounding the K. Don't get any better. It's a beautiful sight, Fizz.
Looks like the settlers coming across the Kansas plains back in the day.
Oh, that just makes a good-looking ballpark even better.
Remember when Ron Swan's family was on the Santa Fe Trail and they crossed the prairie? Just beautiful flowers, he said. The ground ball struck foul. Bruce Chen will face Nick Castellanos, Alex Avila, and Suarez here in the fourth. Castellanos, the talented rookie out of Davie, Florida, only 22. Starting at third base almost every single game this year, and he rolls one foul. And Bruce continues to confound him with 1-2 count. He was able to get him to pop up to right field back in inning number 2. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Miguel Cabrera, he hit the ball on the sac fly, but I don't think he raked it. He didn't crush it. They're not hitting Bruce hard at all.
Well, the only hit that has been well struck was the one by Austin Jackson. That was up in the middle.
So, you know, Bruce is holding his own. He's doing a good job.
And they're facing a team that's not only good, but they have shared a bit of fortune throughout this series. That happens when you win 17 out of 22, and Castellanos swings and misses, and Chen gets his first strikeout.
Up out of the zone. It's a teaser pitch. Looks good to the hitter. But when you've got in your back of your mind that slow curve, that changeup, and all those other slow pitches, that fastball sneaks up on you. Slows his bat down.
Alex Avila, last time up, the Royals defense had him played to pull 3 infielders like they have right now on the right side of the diamond, only one on the left, which was Escobar. And Chen made a great pitch, broke Avila's bat, but he hit it in such a perfect location that Esky had no chance to make a play. Even Avila was smiling once he got to first base, saying, good things happening. Well, this is a team that does know how to win. They were 93-69, winning the Central last year, and have won 276 games the last 3 years with 3 Central titles.
That's a nice breaking ball there. Bruce has got a good angle on his curve today.
We saw him throw a curveball about 59 miles an hour last year. Avila does not go after it. It's a 3-1 count.
That was a slider. What a variation in speeds you just saw right there. And that's the key, upsetting the timing of the hitter. And Bruce is a master at it. Pitch selection with 2 strikes. Look what he's doing. He's
tough to guess, huh?
Yeah, you got to flip a coin. Just put him in a zone. Doesn't make it easy. Another thing that makes it more difficult on hitters, when you watch Bruce, he doesn't give you anything. No emotion. Chews that gum the same way every pitch, every time you face him. And he's got a poker face. He looks confident. He never tips his hand how he's feeling.
Avila strikes out swinging. So 2 batters confused in this 4th inning. One Castellanos, the other Avila.
That was beautiful. That is exactly what he wanted to do. And Bruce was quick to point to Hayes right after that, and he goes, good call. Perfect spot.
Strike one to Suarez, who popped up to right his first time up. Bruce gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning. One on a sacrifice fly, the other on a bloop single to left. Escobar likely should have had it, but it looked like he lost the ball, and Ibanez had a long way to come, and the ball dropped just in front of Raul. That ball well struck to left field, but Ibanez right there, and that will do it. 3 up, 3 down in the 4th inning.
Way to work it, Bruce. A couple strikeouts in the inning. Look good.
Want tickets to the best matchups all at a discounted price? Well, make sure to check out the new Salvi All-Star Pick'em plan, where you have the option to pick any 10 Royals games starting as low as $13 a ticket. Plus, we'll include an autographed Salvador Perez hat for every pair purchased. Make your very own Salvi All-Star Pick'em plan at Royals.com/Salvi or by calling 816-504-4040 option 2. And that man is probably the greatest ambassador for this organization because of his energy, his personality, and also his excellence. Going to the All-Star game, he'll start on Tuesday in a game you can watch on Fox.
Skills.
Eric Hosmer will lead off the bottom of the 4th inning, grounded out to second his first time up. There is a strike on the outside corner. Oz likely will go home for a little bit of the All-Star break. Got a great family that loves baseball, and he said his brother Mike was such a tremendous influence for him. He hits this one to right field, but Martinez is there and out number 1. Fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you will be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And certainly Hosmer, one of those candidates, with a marvelous month of July, hitting .442 in July coming into this one. Billy Butler will bat with nobody on and 1 out. That will be out of play. Butler out of Jacksonville, Florida. Now lives in the Phoenix area because he likes to be there for spring training when the Royals play in Surprise. gets a chance to stay at home, play those games, and very quickly Verlander has him down 0-2. He struck him out on a good hard slider away from Butler back in inning number 2.
I'll never forget sitting in the stands here at the K when they had the All-Star game in 12. And the crowd chanting Billy Butler, Billy Butler. My kids remembered it. They still remember that.
And Billy, who strikes out here, he said he was really nervous and had to collect himself at the plate because that meant so much. And he was telling himself, just don't strike out. And he did hit the baseball but made it out.
Special moment. And there's a lot of work that's involved with that. And now Minnesota, they're finding that out. A lot of work. And the Royals organization deserves to be commended again on how great that was and how hard they worked to put on a great spectacle.
And Minnesota's done a great job this year. We were there a couple of weeks ago to start that last road trip. A lot of signage throughout the city welcoming the All-Stars.
It really does tax the people that work with the organization, though, because it's a lot of work, but it's worth it. Like I said, the whole world watches. It's the best exhibition game there is in sport, in my opinion. It's because it means something.
And the All-Star coverage gets underway at 3:30 on Fox Sports 1. And of course, you can switch over to Fox for the big game. That will be at 6:30.
You know, does the NFL even have a Pro Bowl anymore?
They do, but it doesn't mean anything. It's after the Super Bowl, and so many of the guys, or in between the Super Bowl, I should say, right before, who are deserving don't go because they're either in the Super Bowl or they're coming off injuries, or they're just saying I've had too long a season. So they try and make it almost as close to touch football as possible.
That's right. Are you going to watch that?
No.
Okay. Major League Baseball, that game means something. Home field advantage for a postseason is unbelievable for a team. That's what makes it exciting, along with all the great players. Bud Selig's done a lot of good things in his tenure. That was one of them.
And our Toyota League leaders show look how important it is to win, because the All-Star winner, how many times? 7 of the 10 who won the All-Star game, their league won the All-Star game, went on to win the World Series because they did have that home field advantage.
It's important.
Red Sox got it last year. Ground ball first. Cabrera has it, and Moustakas is out number 3. We head to the 5th, 2-0 Detroit. AT&T U-verse rewind. It's not like the Tigers this afternoon are ripping line drive after line drive. They've had a lot of fortune. Broken bat base hits, blue base hits.
Yeah, when you're going good, things like that seem to happen. And that's the way the game has been. And sometimes that's the way the world is. Luck is a big word that's used. And we see it all the time in society, in life, in everyday life. And when you got it on your side, especially in baseball, it can be a beautiful thing.
But the great ones have always said luck is also the residue of preparation. And that ball stroked in the alley, and that's well struck. It's a base hit for Davis, who has been on twice. Once with a infield hit, and now that's a legitimate hit.
Well, he's looking for first pitch fastball, and he got it. Perfect. No vibration whatsoever on the lumber.
Well, Bruce Chen hasn't had much of a chance to pitch from the full windup. He's been from the stretch almost immediately, as the Tigers have had 4 of their 5 leadoff men on in the first 5 innings. Now back to Jackson, who singled his last time up and is 2 for 2 and 8 for 16 in this series.
Bruce's curveball and his fastball have been the 2 best pitches. He's able to locate those.
Well, there's 2, 6, 4, and 3. That'll work. Hey, have a classic car that you want to show off at the K? Well, come out to the ballpark on August 10th, Hud, for our annual Cruise to the K Classic Car Show. The show will begin at 8 a.m. and the winning vehicles will have a chance to parade around the Kauffman Stadium warning track as part of the pregame ceremonies. For available ticket packages and to register for the event, go to Royals.com/carshow now. And we were here last year. Man, they had some beauties. So much history at the park. Here is Kinsler. Chen has only thrown 74 pitches. We told you that Ned Yost said he would likely send him 75 through 95. Center field, lazy fly ball for Gerard Dyson. He'll make the catch. That'll do it. Bruce Chen, 5 solid innings. Royals need some offense.
Well said.
And there's 42-year-old Raul Ibanez jogging in after the last inning. He said that when he was in college many years ago in Miami, He said that his coach would time them. They had to sprint out to the field, and while he doesn't sprint anymore, you'll never see him walking. You'll always see him hustling. His influences and favorite players as a kid were Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, and George Brett. But I asked him about the mental side of things when you're struggling. He's 0 for his last 24 right now. He's been through it before. And he said it's a grind. It is a mental fight every single day. You have to stay positive. You have to push forward. And as Rex so often says, you can't show any negativity. You don't want the opponent to know you're frustrated. You also don't want to bring your teammates down. You've got to continue to elevate your teammates, separate performance from personality, and try to elevate your team with your actions and not show the negative. That's a veteran in Raul Ibanez who has always stuck to those principles. Sounds pretty good, right, Hud?
Oh, Goldie, you're giving me goosebumps. Nice report on a classy Major League Baseball player. He gets it. He understands it. He knows. You have, especially when you're struggling, that's when people watch you. They don't watch you when you're going good, because anybody can handle success. Walk around, you know, it's all good to be upbeat, be bopping around. But when you're struggling, you want to carry yourself the same way as when you're on top. Every day be the same guy. And it's real. Your teammates know you're genuine. You care for others. When you're in that clubhouse, it's unbelievable the amount of time you spend with the guys. More than when you're with your family for 6 months. Those are your buddies. And
Rex, you've also said something else that's very important. You said it's a reputation that gets around to other opponents.
No question. And also other organizations. That's why they'll go get you when you're 42 years old. You're a wanted commodity when you have that type of mentality.
Ibanez to right. Martinez goes back and reaches up and makes a fine running catch.
Too bad. Martinez got a great break on it. I thought it was going to carry over his head. The wind was blowing out that way a little bit, helped him. But JD made a nice running catch. Stayed on the breaking balls in the middle of the plate. Kind of got it off towards the end of the bat. Didn't really square that up like he can. But Verlander appreciates it.
Well, Cabrera and Fielder in the past had a lot to do with the Tigers' success to win 3 straight Central championships, and with the lead at the All-Star break this year again. But to be quite honest with you, Hud, with Detroit, it's been all about their starting rotation. They have always put together a great rotation, and they've held the Royals to 6 runs in 26 2/3 innings coming into this frame. That's a 2.19 ERA by your starters against this Royals team. So the Royals have to break out of it themselves.
Tigers leaving no doubt who the best team is in the Central over the first half. Long way to go.
The Royals got hurt because of the injury to Jason Vargas, who will not be available for 3 to 4 weeks because of the appendix attack that he had the other day and had to have it removed at Tampa Bay. And they did not have Alex Gordon for this series. Detroit did not have Victor Martinez for this series. But the Royals, we told you, not just chasing Detroit, they're chasing 2 wild card spots again this year, and they are 3.5 games back of the Angels, Seattle, and Toronto. Angels, we told you, lost C.J. Wilson for a while because of the ankle injury, and also Jared Weaver with the back problem. No word on how long he'll be out, and Escobar is now 0 for 2. Well, time to pay off our Sprint family question of the day. Who was the last American League catcher to be named MVP of the All-Star game? It was Sandy Alomar Jr. in '97. Rex, I remembered him having a great game. I just could not remember if he got the MVP that year.
Fans better stop listening to my guesses because they're way off. But Sandy, they're all excellent catchers in their time when Maurer was catching. But Alomar, unbelievable.
He hit a 2-run home run late in the game to take the lead, and that, of course, was in Cleveland, where it was back at Jacobs Field. They called it the Jake at the time, and that place was rocking. They had put together so many tremendous teams in back-to-back years and really should have won a World Series, but the Marlins got him once.
There you go. There's the Royals' luck. Buzzard luck. That ball, if it was just another couple of inches to the right, it would have been a
We
double.
were showing those same replays in Detroit when Kansas City was overwhelming them 11-8, 11-4, and 2-1, and had ripped off 10 straight wins. But that's the way the game goes, and as we said, you got to make your own breaks.
Create your own luck.
Detroit with 2 in the third and a sacrifice fly by Cabrera and a bloop base hit that fell at the feet of Ibanez. The pitch misses. Royals have 1 hit. It was a double by Brett Hayes, who was waiting on deck. Their only other base runner was Nori Aoki. Verlander's now thrown 72 pitches of the afternoon. 46 have made that strike zone. Only 26 have missed, including a 4-pitch walk to Aoki. Well, Gerard making him work. Giordano Ventura has been warming in the Kansas City bullpen. Chen has gone 5, and we told you a little more than 75 pitches on the afternoon, and Ned Yost told us he'd hope to get 75 to 95 out of him. Dyson just over Verlander's head. Kinsler has no chance to get Dyson, and that is a bit of fortune finally. As soon as he got it over Verlander's head, I thought this is a base hit.
It's exactly what Gerard wanted to do. Nice job of staying on top of the ball. That was an elevated pitch too. He's got a lot higher percentage of getting on base when he stays on top of the ball and utilizing that great speed. You see the wrist guards that guys are putting on now. It's a good thing.
Particularly after the Gordon injury, that's how he suffered at first.
Yep, a lot of guys, you know, they sit on that hand when they go into slide, and it can cause you some problems sometimes. Phantom cam shows you the hops on Verlander trying to make that play. Some athleticism.
Yeah, there's no question about his athleticism. He has quick feet, and he has one of the better pickoff moves of any right-hander in the game.
It's the reason he's got 4 errors this year. A couple of balls have thrown away.
Hayes got a pitch middle away and doubled off the left field wall. One of only 2 Royal hits. Oh, he had a good swing there too, and it's a 1-1 count. Brett grew up in Southern California, went to college baseball at Nevada. Was all whack there 3 years and was one of the candidates for the Johnny Bench Award, which goes to the finest catcher in college baseball. The Royals have pretty good depth at that position. Francisco Pena, who is Tony Pena's son, having a very good year for Omaha. He has 18 home runs.
Beautiful. Developing another catcher. He's having a year. We all know he can catch and throw.
Well, most of the Royals' other catching prospects are at the low levels, whether they be rookie ball or Class A ball.
Brett Hayes is a fine backup for Salvi. He can catch and throw. Fills in. He's got some pop in his bat. And that's a great reputation to have. Hayes like a backup quarterback job.
Suarez has it. He's throwing plenty of time. We head to the 6th inning of play. Detroit leads 2-0. The MTP of the game, the most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
Oh, roll him up all day long. Nice play by Bruce. He's doing a good job. 5 innings. No walks. Pretty good for a guy that doesn't pitch very regularly.
And they really have not been pounding the baseball. They've been getting some bloops, some broken bad singles, but Bruce Chen has been able to confound them as well with his off-speed pitches. And of course, on Sunday here at the K, it's our Sundays with Denny. So Hall of Fame broadcaster Denny Matthews moves over from radio to TV. And Dennis, I've got to ask you your thoughts on Bruce Chen, because you've seen him through the years and again this afternoon.
Love the way he's pounding the hitters inside. We were talking about that in the 1st inning. And I mentioned Charlie Leibrandt, Royals pitcher from the mid-'80s.
Oh, yeah.
And Charlie didn't throw that hard, but he pitched right-handed hitters inside as well as any Royals pitcher left-handed I've ever seen.
And it's so effective.
Oh.
I mean, and then it opens up the outer half of that plate for that changeup and that breaking ball. And I faced Charlie, and plus he had a lot of moving parts. You know, he was all curled up in a little ball, and you know, it was hard to pick the ball up from him.
You bet.
Cabrera pops it up right side. Hosmer near the foul line will make the catch, and there is out number 1. And I wanted to ask you, Denny, did Charlie Leibrandt's influence other left-handers, guys like Bud Black and Danny Jackson, who worked with him?
A little bit. I'm not sure Danny, because he had such overpowering, nasty stuff. I mean, Danny Jackson never threw a pitch that didn't move some way into the dirt, or a little hop, or come inside, or he was just nasty.
Best slider I ever saw.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just nasty, nasty.
Outside of Randy Johnson's. But Danny Jackson, I saw him in Jacksonville in A-ball. I know it was in Double-A for the first time, and I'd never seen a slider like that. That was when he was young, before he got up to the big leagues. It was electric, Denny. You hit it right on the head. Everything moved, and it was hard.
But you're right, Fizz. Buddy Black, I think Charlie influenced him a little bit. And with Danny's stuff, I don't think he needed any influence from anybody. He just get out there, and like Hud said, he just chuck away and drive hitters crazy. And his catcher, by the way.
But I think it takes some guts when you throw a fastball at 84, 85 miles an hour to come inside on right-handers.
It does if you haven't set the hitter up for it.
Yeah.
And that's the key. If you just come inside without setting him up, why, you got some problems. And I was interested to see how the Detroit Tigers would adjust to what Chen has been doing. And there were a couple better swings second time through the order, but he's really pitching well.
Denny, how do you explain his control and command for not pitching very regularly?
Moustakas knocks it down, but does not have time to get J.D. Martinez, who likely gets his third hit of the day. Boy, when you're hot, you are hot, and J.D. Martinez has been on fire in July, hitting over 430 now.
You know, I think, Hud, to answer your question, Bruce Chen, number one, his preparation. Number two, his mindset as far as command. He doesn't try to do, here's the old story, and we're going to get a change of pitchers here, but it's the old story. Bruce doesn't try to do too much. He doesn't try to be a pitcher that he's not. He's just himself. He knows that, and I think that's why he was so effective.
Nice job today, Bruce.
This is our Chevy call to the bullpen. We're going to go from the off speed to the heat. I'm sure this is by design, something that Ned Yost and Dave Island and Doug Henry talked about. Get the kid in there that has the overpowering fastball right after Bruce Chen, who is dazzling you with the off-speed stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice contrast, isn't it? From left to right, from finesse to power, and now the Tigers have to make yet another adjustment. But they're an experienced team for the most part, so let's see how they can work here against the Heat.
Better speed them up a little bit.
Yeah.
And once again, this is Sundays with Denny. Denny Matthews, the Hall of Fame broadcaster, who was with Ryan Lefebvre, came over to give us his time in the 6th inning. Rex Hudler, of course, and I'm Steve Physiak, but good to have you aboard.
Yeah, Ryan said, don't forget to tell the guys that I really got a nice looking shirt on today. Yeah. Look at us. I mean, this is conservatism at its best, the three of us. And Ryan's over there with his Hawaiian garb.
Oh, yeah. He's getting ready for his break. Yeah. No, but it's really special to have you, Denny, and especially just this being my 3rd year. Getting to know you and your history, it's amazing as we have time with you on the air, but in between commercials, I'm just talking your leg off about certain pitchers in the past. You know, you were mentioning some great lefties. Frank Tanana. They said before he hurt his arm, he was wicked as well. He had great stuff.
Frank Tanana could get inside. He was a left-hander on a right-handed hitter better than anybody I've ever seen. And a lot of people would agree with that. He was unbelievable. Then he hurt his arm and he became more of a finesse pitcher. But boy, I'll tell you what, when he was with the Angels at his peak, look out.
So Ventura making his first career appearance out of the bullpen.
He's facing Torrey Hunter. He has a 1-1 count with him.
In the
Torrey
main.
with 14 minor league relief appearances. He's always been a starter. And there is a strike across against Torrey Hunter, 1-2, and Torrey went back and talked with Bill Miller, the crew chief.
Nice little breaking ball, and they give him the outside corner there.
And that's what Torrey was talking with Miller about. Comes back inside, right about 99 miles an hour. About 15 miles an hour more than Bruce Chen's fastball.
That ball exploded at the last minute. It came in on it. Hitters don't like it when you throw it at their hands.
Torrey pops it up, shallow left. Another long run for Ibanez. Escobar wants it and gets it. Raul was waiting to hear him call him, and Raul, it looked like, was shouting as well that he had it, but he did not want the same thing that happened back in inning number 3 to occur again.
Again, infielders do not verbally call the ball on that. Escobar made a body language sign. I got it with his hands. It's the outfielders who do the talking. And Ibanez, if he wanted that, he would have called him off. But infielders, they just put their hand up to signal the outfielder that they have a pretty good chance to catch it.
Now Nick Castellanos, who was popped up and struck out. He was 2 for 13 in this series. Well, we had Chen to start for 5 1/3 innings, and his average fastball velocity was 84.1 miles per hour. Yordano Ventura almost 97.
Yeah, and it matters not so much the speed, but where does the ball go? And speed's a factor, let's face it, but if it isn't a good spot, well, it doesn't matter if it's 96 or 76.
Isn't location everything?
Everything.
Hard or soft, it doesn't matter.
Put it in a good spot.
But with velocity, you can get away with more mistakes.
Yes. And you can get a strikeout more often when a strikeout is needed. I've always thought Bruce Chen works on the hitter's ego. I go back to Dan Quisenberry, the submarine. Quiz couldn't break a pane of glass with his fastball, but and hitters, especially the left-handed hitters, man, they dig in against Quiz and roll over on that sinker, and he got a 4.63 double play
All day long.
Yeah, and he just, yeah, I'm going to go up there and just kill this guy.
Strike 3 outside corner. Ventura gets the strikeout. Well, today we are counting down our top 5 moments of the year, and here is number 3.
Royals down to their last strike for a second time in the inning. And Sal hits a ground ball to Reyes. Low throw, and it gets off of Encarnacion's glove, and the Royals tie it in the 9th.
is brought to you by Thoroughbred Ford. Check out the huge selection of F-150s at thoroughbredford.com. So here at the K, as you know, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Carolyn Bible from Olathe. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Carolyn will win $900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Carolyn will win $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Aoki down the right field line, and it is caught once again by J.D. Martinez. So fortune continues to smile on the Tigers. And Denny, I remember you coming into our booth when we were at Comerica Park in Detroit, and the Royals were getting every single break, and you said, the Royals, the way they're playing right now, it's officially ridiculous. And Detroit's not only good, but they're getting the breaks right now.
They are. They're playing well. They're pitching well. They're an experienced team that kind of figure out what they have to do to win a game, whatever type of game it is. Slugfest, pitcher's duel, running game, don't care. They have enough experienced players that they can figure out a way to win the game, and that's why they have been a championship team lately. And Verlander's throwing pretty well. He's been a little bit of a enigma, I think you could say, over the last couple of years. And there's so many theories on why is he not as effective the last couple of years as he was during his peak seasons. And I've got one for you. You know how many pitches Justin Verlander has thrown? This is as of mid-June, a month ago. Regular season, forget spring training, forget postseason. How many pitches has Verlander thrown since 66? I mean, 06, his rookie year.
A ton. And we were explaining that earlier in the broadcast. I agree with you. One of the reasons is all the innings. He used to throw 100. Remember when he first started? He was ready. He was like Ventura.
You ready for the number?
Go ahead.
Regular season pitches since his rookie year. 30,608.
And you have only so much pitches.
That's right.
In that arm. Although Nolan Ryan pitched until he was 46, 47 years of age. And there's Castellanos, played it perfectly. Long lob across the diamond. And 2 out. Well, time for a Mazda game break. Let's go to Boston in the Houston game. Peacock with the pitch. Brock Holt at the plate. And he blasts one out. Brock Holt having a solid year for the Red Sox. He gives them a 1-0 lead, and right now it's the Red Sox 4-0 in the 7th inning. Sox still in last place in the East. They won it all last year. In Detroit, that's the one thing they're lacking. They want that world title. And that ball hit sharply, but right to Cabrera, who makes the catch on a line. And Detroit continues to control Kansas City as we head to the 7th inning of play. We are teaming up to help you stop smoking. For more information, call the Quit line at 1-800-QUIT-NOW. Let's flash back to 1989's All-Star game. If this is our Jeep drive of the game, Bo Jackson against Rick Russell, who decided to throw a sinking fastball that sunk over the wall. An absolutely monster shot at the Big A. And you had a chance to broadcast a lot of his moments. What kind of player was he?
Good.
Powerful.
Now,
Yeah,
would you use the word great for him? Was he great?
He made some great plays, let's put it that way. I wish he had limited himself just to baseball and maybe had stayed in the minor leagues another at least half year, maybe a full year, and then had played 15 big league seasons injury free. Oh my. Hall of Fame.
There you go. He'd be great.
Yeah.
Ventura starts his second inning. He came on relief of Chen in the 6th. And he misses 1 ball, 1 strike.
Denny, Joe Torre told me after my second year of broadcasting, just new in the business, he was managing the Yankees, and he says he had listened to our broadcast in New York after the games because the West Coast games were on. And he said, I got a couple of tips for you, Hud, which you need to learn. Joe Torre was a broadcaster too.
Sure.
He said, I know you like everybody, but not everybody's great. Okay, you can't, Hud, you were a nice player. You weren't a great player. You weren't even a good player. You were a nice player.
Nice.
Save that word when it really pertains to a guy. Don't just use that term great.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. And picking up little tips. And also, he told me the next thing, if you see a guy not hustling, you need to call that out. And I said, really? He goes, yeah, that's just part of the integrity of a broadcaster.
You will never embarrass yourself if you hustle.
I agree.
Alex Avila 1 for 2 in this game. He is singled and struck out. And he fouls it back, and the count remains 3-2.
Denny, who will be the next commissioner of baseball?
Well, that's a good question. There have been 5 or 6 names out there. It's hard to know. I think the owners have to approve, do they not?
You would most definitely.
And that might be a problem, getting owners to agree on different things. So. Don't know. Good question.
Well, Ventura paints the inside corner with that fastball. And Royals fans, make sure to come out to the K on July 29th for Hunting and Fishing Night presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and meet the crew from Heartland Waterfowl. And Ryan Lefebvre's shirt looks like it should be part of that fishing night.
Well, he's
it
so
would be
proud
deep sea
of
fishing.
He's so proud of his Hawaiian shirts. I mean, he said, make sure the guys see my shirt today. What do you think? I don't know.
I like it.
Well, what was it? I said Verlander's number of pitches since his rookie year, 30,608. That's how many Hawaiian shirts Lefebvre has.
He make anything look good.
Some guys look good in anything.
He's looking up saying, I know you're making fun of my shirt.
Yeah. Well, we should.
He says, let me in on it.
But what a terrific guy. And he's going to enjoy a Hawaiian shirt every single day of the break. And as you know, if you go into his closet, you were talking about the number of pitches that Verlander's thrown. That's the number of shirts, Hawaiian shirts, he has, as Ventura strikes out his 3rd of the 4 batters that he's faced. First time swinging. That is a hook.
Whew. Nasty. Late break with depth. That's scout talk. Now it's broadcaster talk.
He almost got Davis with that inside fastball.
At 101. Here's the Ventura Highway. 101. In tight.
Line drive base hit to right field. So Davis is 3 for 3 today. And You know, Denny, we were talking about good fortune, and I remember talking to Rusty Kuntz, who played on that 1984 team that won it all under Sparky Anderson. They got off to a 35-5 start, and Rusty said, "You think we're getting the breaks right now?" He said, "During that 35 out of 40 stretch, we got every break. We had about a ball hit off of a base every single night." But they started out 9-0, and the team and the guy that beat them on that 10th was in our broadcast booth the other night, Brett Saberhagen. It was his first major league win at the age of 20, and Sabes was able to knock it down and beat the team that would win the world championship that year.
And to be 35-5, you have to have good fortune. You also have to have good players, and you have to play good games. That combination would be deadly. But everything has to fall in place, but you really have to be playing well with good players and good pitching. And then you look up and it's 35-5, and who do we play in postseason?
It's called good mojo.
Sparky said that was the most difficult year of managing he ever had, and I said, "Why would you say that? You're out in front by 20 games." And he said, "Because if I lose that lead, I'm looked at as the worst manager of all time, that Sparky Anderson lost a 35-5 advantage."
And I'll tell you where the pressure really is under those conditions. It's postseason. It's always more difficult to win when you're supposed to. When you're the favorite, and if you're a big favorite, that's when the pressure really builds.
That ball struck to right center field and deep. Will Dyson reach it? Yes, he will. Fine play by Gerard Dyson, and Denny Matthews, thanks very much. Now go talk to Ryan about his fashion.
Maybe he'll let me use his shirt sometime.
Have a great break, Denny. Thanks, man.
Thanks, guys.
And the Royals have their first walk-off this year.
That is our number 2 moment from the first half. Number 1 coming up, but that was the Omar Infante walk-off. Tickets for Less has been the best selection of Royals seats at Kauffman Stadium, seats behind the dugout, Diamond Club, or even Crown seats. For a limited time, go to ticketsforless.com, enter the code Joel, and receive a nice discount on tickets to all Royals games. Tickets for Less has been a trusted local business for over 20 years, or for over 10 years in Overland Park on 135th Street. Check out ticketsforless.com for all your Royals needs. And there were some fans here, guys, a couple of weeks ago, speaking of that walk-off by Omar Infante. And when Jeff Montgomery and I were walking out of the stadium, They said, that's the first walk-off that our boys have ever seen. And I said, well, it was the first one of the year. And they said, we may not see another one in person for a while. It was the Shaw family. They're from here, but they had moved over to the Netherlands a little over a year ago for work, back home visiting, and they watch all of our games that are on during the day with the time change on the internet. So a shout out to the Shaws, Rich, Susan, Ryan, and Michael over in Holland. And also spoke with someone else during the pregame show today. Wanted to give a shout out to Aaron Cornett, Major Cornett in the Army over in Iraq and Kuwait, and his parents and his fiancee Becky are here. Major Cornett, we want to thank you for your service. Stay safe, and thank you for watching, guys.
Joel, you're always about the love.
It's beautiful.
He is awesome.
People feel good when they hear their name out there.
Well, let's see if that mojo can roll over to the Royals offense. They have been really shut down by this terrific starting rotation of the Detroit Tigers, and hopefully Billy Butler will give them their start here in the 7th inning. First time the Royals have had their leadoff man on.
Hunting that first pitch, fastball. That ball was in too, about 3 inches in off the plate. Billy's able to have that, pull that bottom hand in. In order to hit a ball like that, that bottom hand's got to pull in towards that left field side.
Mike Moustakas up. He's flied out to center and grounded out to first. I'd love to see Verlander make a mistake, get one he can drive. Moose with 10 home runs this year. Slight breeze blowing out towards right, but with his power, he doesn't need much help. Ball 1. Well, a season ago, Kansas City lost its last 5 games entering the All-Star break for a 43-49 record, but then the club caught fire and reeled off an American League best 33-20 ledger when play resumed to finish 10 games over 500. But right now 1 game over 500, and there was one in Moose's wheelhouse, but in enough where he couldn't get the sweet part of the bat on the baseball. They went to the break 6 under last year. Currently they are 1 over at 47-46, and will start on the road at Fenway Park against the Red Sox and then go to Chicago. 1-2. We have been seeing Verlander go more off speed with his curve, his slider, his changeup, and I think that has to do with not trusting that fastball. Opponents hitting .305 off of his heater this year. And that is hit sharply but foul. Verlander going through a rough stretch. His last 10 starts with an ERA that's almost 6.5. And we told you the Royals got to him for 7 earned runs in 6 innings.
4-seam fastball that's designed to go straight. He used to use it as a put-away pitch upstairs.
Tried to get the curve on the outside corner. Instead it misses. Butler singled. Moustakas with a 2-2 count.
Moose is gaining confidence on every swing.
Last 2 pitches were curveball and then the changeup. Again, we talked about losing confidence in that fastball. He throws it 54% of the time. As we showed that graphic, he has been losing velocity through the years. 2011 season was absolutely remarkable, going 24-5 with a 2.4 ERA, and also led the American League in strikeouts with 250. A flare towards left, that will drop for a hit. So KC has 2 aboard with nobody out here in the 7th. Well, Margaret submitted a great fan photo, and that was part of our AT&T fan photo. And Margaret, to look at her boys here at the K. Margaret, we're hoping the Royals can get the big hit. Raul Ibanez, last time up, hit the ball hard and drove J.D. Martinez right up against the wall, where he made a fine running catch.
Royals are due for a little bit of fortune.
With nobody on, they had 3 infielders in the right side for Raul. Now they have to keep 2 on the left side because runners at first and second. Had a good pitch to hit and fouls it back. Came with his best velocity fastball at 95 miles an hour.
Tried to get that in on him. He did a good job of it.
And in the past, when Verlander needed a big pitch, he would really lift that fastball to 98, 99 miles an hour. Elevate it in the strike zone and get the strikeout. And we remember that game he had years ago. That was about 3 years ago, 2012. He was facing Alex Gordon, and Jim Leyland wanted to take him out. Ibanez takes it outside, and Leyland left him in the game. His next 3 pitches to Alex were 98, 99, and 100 miles an hour. He got the complete game victory. Up the middle, base hit. Butler will be held at third, and KC has loaded the bases against the Tigers in the 7th.
Ibanez staying inside the baseball. After he got his first pitch to pull, he fouled it off. He told himself, all right, I'm going to put that home run swing away, and I'm going to try to stay in the middle part of the field. Very good adjustment in his at-bat.
Rex, does Billy kind of take away some of the options that you have as a hitter and also as a manager of what you try and do? Let's say you had a speed guy at third. In this case, you don't.
Well, you know, the bases are loaded, so anything on the ground he's going, you want to make sure to freeze on a liner. The last thing they can afford here, right here, is to get doubled up on a ball hit hard. But, you know, certainly, you know, if he gets a ball in the air, you know, sac fly, it'll have to be deep enough that he can score him.
Royals need a big hit. Escobar takes strike 1.
Esky's got one of the 2 grand slams hit by Royals this year.
That was in Seattle, a victory. Verlander hasn't had too many threats, but a single by Butler, a single by Moustakas, and now a line drive hit by Ibanez has loaded him with nobody out.
They need a base clearer.
Esky rolls one past Verlander. Butler will score, and the ball's dropped, and the Royals within 1 with still nobody out. That's a break.
Yeah, it is. It almost looked like Verlander twisted his ankle trying to field that, but he didn't. He just slipped. His left foot gave way, but there's no chance. Escobar, he smelt it all the way. And it's lots of times when you swing at a pitch like that, your momentum coming out of the box is you're moving towards first base, so it gives you really an extra step.
I'm not sure if Esky hurt himself He just gave a thumbs up to Ned Yost, who wanted to find out what the problem was. Escobar going to the All-Star break, and the Royals don't have much depth defensively. When they sent Colon down the other day, they only have Danny Valencia off the bench in case somebody gets hurt. Bases still loaded. KC has cut it to 1. Dyson has struck out looking and reached on an infield hit. Both corners in.
First pitch fastball.
Dyson hits it past Verlander. They get 1, and the game is tied as Moustakas checks in from third.
Hey, Dyson was ready for it. Hit it hard. Escobar did a smart thing. He knew that Kinsler was going to try to tag him, so you stop. Make him get the out at first, and with Dyson running, Kinsler didn't have long.
And guess who's coming out as a pinch hitter? Ned Yost saying we got to go for it here. Second and third, the All-Star, Salvador Perez, who has a flight to Minneapolis after this one, starting Tuesday's All-Star game. And here comes the big fella. That'll make you feel good. That kind of ovation Salvi got when he came out of the dugout, and the fans recognized who was coming up. Brad Ausmus coming out. Well, because of Salvi's success against Justin Verlander, it looks like Ausmus will take him out. Nobody has a higher batting average in his career off of the Detroit right-hander than Salvador Perez. We'll be right back. The seventh inning, they have the go-ahead run at third base and insurance at second base. They've gone to Salvador Perez. Rex, it's interesting that Ausmus went to a left-hander in Ian Kroll, but you look at the numbers and Sal has not been that strong against lefty pitching this year.
Nope, he sure hasn't, and that's exactly why he brought the lefty in. Salvador Perez is in 197 with 2 homers against lefties, and righties Salvi's hitting just over 300 on him.
Lorenzo Cain also pinch running for Raul Ibanez at third base, just in case Salvi gets one in the air. They want the fastest man they have on the bench to run home on a sac fly. And remember, the Royals would love to get the lead because 2 guys that are well rested are Wade Davis for the 8th and Greg Holland for the 9th. they will intentionally walk Salvador Perez to get to the lefty-lefty matchup with Aoki on deck.
Yeah, you know, with first base open, there wasn't a chance they were going to throw to him.
You know, I just wasn't sure because of Kroll's numbers against right-handed batters and also Salvi's numbers against left-handed pitchers. And Aoki has tremendous success this year against lefties.
I know.
Aoki hitting .358 against southpaws.
You're right, Fizz, but you know what? Numbers, we use a lot of numbers up here, but those guys down there, especially Osmus and managers, they go on gut feeling. They might know the numbers and keep them in the back of their mind, but they have a feel for the game, and they're going to make decisions based on that.
Well, would you think about having Aoki bunt, or you like his chances just swinging away?
Yeah, absolutely. You got to take a chance here. You've been beaten 3 straight games, important games in this series. You got him here on the ropes, 2-2, 1 out. He's got to be hacking.
Aoki 0 for 2 today, but both were well struck fly balls to right field. And the wind picks up, and it's really roaring out towards right now, about 10-15 miles an hour.
Royals want to pick up a game on these guys.
Absolutely. Head to the break happy. Ball 1.
Aoki does a good job of those laying off of those big breaking balls, and that's what left-handed specialists do to lefty batters.
And Kroll has not fared that well recently. His last 5 outings, opponents have 6 runs in just 4 innings. Big hit needed here.
He's got a good fastball. He'll run in mid-90s. Big curve.
Very good block by Avila.
Oh,
it's 3-2 KC.
That was a big save. Wow.
Kane third, Escobar second, Perez at first. In the air, out is Kinsler. That will not get it done.
Last thing he wanted to do.
Royals have not hit well with runners in scoring position in the month of July. Since July 5th, coming into this game, they were hitting just .164 with runners in scoring position. Out comes Osmus. He wants the right-hander to face Infante. Infante, as we've told you several times, has had very good success against his old team this year with 9 driven in, and they need a big hit right here, right now. So we'll have a pitching change, and that right-hander will be Al Albuquerque. Brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. and by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you. Last game before the All-Star break. Detroit has taken the first 3. The Royals trying to get game 4. Omar Infante, who was with the Tigers last year and hit .318 and has 9 RBIs off Detroit this year, will face Albuquerque, who is very, very tough on right-handers.
Better believe it. He's got a mid-90s fastball. A slider's a good pitch and a changeup, but everything moves. He's got a lot of movement to his pitches. It won't be easy for Infante, but Infante, he's been a Tiger killer this year. Maybe the right man in the right spot here.
Royals need a big hit. Infante 0 for 3, but with 6 multi-hit games his last 11. Kane third, Escobar second, Perez first. Another exceptional block by Avila. That is 2 with the last 2 batters.
Look at how he shifts his weight. He moves his whole body so he can center that thing up, keep it in front of him if it doesn't land in his glove.
Upstairs, 2 balls and no strikes. That's the one concern I'm sure Ausmus has. This is a young man with terrific stuff, and you don't get many hits off him, but he also has high strikeouts but high walks as well.
Infante taking his time, getting in the batter's box, making him wait.
He gets a strike across and decided not to go with the fastball.
Ooh. And I'm not so sure that was his slider, but could have been his changeup. Anyway, he hit the right spot.
Base hit left field. Kane scores. Escobar scores. Royals in front 4-2.
Right man, right spot. Wrong location for Albuquerque. That ball was up. It had hit me written all over it. And Infante rarely misses a fastball upstairs. A big cookie with a couple of nice nuggets on it, believe it.
How many clutch hits has this guy come through this year? He won the last homestand, the finale, on a walk-off. He now has 11 RBIs against his old ball club. Here's Cope. how about the Royals getting hits off Verlander in the 7th?
Yeah, it's a welcome sight. I think the Royals knew it was coming. They've had success off Verlander. Osmus went to the bullpen. There wasn't any help in the bullpen either. As that big hit there gave the Royals the lead for the first time in the entire series.
And Wade Davis, I just saw get up in that Royals bullpen. He has been the 8th inning machine for KC. And here is Eric Hosmer. This could be his last chance to extend his hit streak. It's right now at a career high 12. And last time up, he was robbed by Miguel Cabrera as he hit a screaming line drive that Cabrera dove and caught.
The Royals' new 6th inning song this year has been Journey's Don't Stop Believin'. And that is exactly what the fans here need to do. Continue to stay behind this ball club and believe it can happen. And mainly for the players, they've got to believe it. And I think they do.
I love that theme, Don't Stop Believin'. Hosmer takes a strike and Phil Koch has a 1-1 count. Hosmer's really picked up his game against left-handers as well. We've seen him take that sweeping breaking ball from lefties to left field for solid singles. He has Perez at second and Infante at first.
Koch's got a good fastball, mid-90s, big slider, and a nice changeup to righties.
Oh, center field. Look at this. Jackson back. That's off the wall. Perez scores. Infante scores. And they're saying
fan interference.
Hosmer, fan interference. Oh, does that mean Infante's got to come back as well? Ouch. A ground rule double will score 1 but take away 1.
Hosmer, he barreled it, but not like he can. We've seen him hit missiles out of the ballpark in that direction, and it got loud. In the pitch, it was all about the location. Great spot. Now watch it bounce once. Austin Jackson, he saw it as it bounced off the back. Well, there was that lady had an umbrella.
But the fans have to realize they can't go after the baseball once it's been hit in play, and the fan that went after that just cost the Royals 1 run, and now they'll intentionally walk Billy Butler.
Because the fan didn't touch it. It just bounced over the wall. It bounced over the wall.
I thought the umpire at second base ruled fan interference. That was the first.
Well, initially, that's what I thought before we saw the replay. But it bounced off of the back wall. The lady had the umbrella. She was just minding her own business, trying to keep the sunburn off her neck. See that? Now watch it. It hit the H&R block sign.
I did not see that. When the ball was struck by Hosmer, I immediately looked down to see where Perez and Infante were, and Infante was right on Salvi's heels. So they'll walk Billy to load the bases and have to face Moustakas. They'll have the lefty-lefty matchup. Go ahead, Moose. Make that ground rule double, not even care, with a big base hit here.
3 runs this time of the game. You would hope that the back end of that bullpen could hold that. So, but any more they can get, they'll take.
Well, the Royals have 2 of the very best 8th and 9th inning guys in the game, in Davis and Holland, and Wade throwing in that Kansas City pen.
In that blowout game, in game 1 on Thursday, Phil Koch came in late and was facing Moose, and he threw him nothing but fastballs, about 7 or 8 of them, because he didn't want to. It wasn't a pressure situation.
Good point.
Didn't want to see him. He showed him first pitch breaking ball there. I knew he didn't want to show Moose his breaking ball if he didn't have to. That's a smart veteran pitcher. Now he comes in where it's on the line. It's going to break everything out on him. There it is again, back to back. He didn't throw him 1 pitch the last time he faced him that was a breaking ball.
But he had good fuzz on that fastball the other night. All three of them were 94 miles an hour or above.
I can't believe that you're talking HUD. You said fuzz.
I speak HUD. After a decade and a half with you, I have worn down to your language.
Let's see if Moose can get a hold of one and just dump one. Left field.
Pulled foul. And once again, nothing but off-speed pitches from Phil Cope. Looked like Moose was feeling for that pitch, and Cope still has that 94 that he could go to. This is the 10th inning of 5 or more runs in 2014. The Royals came into this frame down 2-0. They have taken a 5-2 lead. Huge hit by Infante. That was the hit that broke the 2-2 tie. Down the line, foul. By the way, Hosmer extending his hit streak to 13 in a row. It continues a career best. Slap to first. Cabrera will take it, but the Royals score 5 in the 7th inning.
The fans are having a fun day Sunday here at the K. They're all worked up, all because of the Wizard of Oz.
The Royals lead 5-2. Panera takes us around the league. Cleveland wins it 3-2. Tampa Bay. David Price with the shutout there. Boston all over Houston and Minnesota, winning early against Colorado. Our Mazda game break takes us to Progressive Field. That would be Yan Gomes. Yeah, his team's out of the World Cup, so he can focus on some baseball now. It's a home run that gives the Indians the lead, his 12th on the year, and they take it. Some changes for the Royals here. We saw Lorenzo Cain coming in to run for Ibanez. He'll stay in the game in that batting spot. Goes to right field. Aoki moves to left field. Salvador Perez is behind the plate. And Mr. 8th inning, Wade Davis on the hill. Biz?
Thank you, Joel. And the Royals with a 5-2 lead. They have 5 runs on 8 hits. The Tigers 2 on 9. And Wade has done an exceptional job this year in this role. He comes in with a 1.16 ERA, and Rex opponents only batting .115 against him.
That's right. Strike one is his biggest pitch. Get ahead of these guys. He's got tremendous stuff to finish them off. Mid to upper 90s, and that big breaking ball there. That's been a good pitch for him.
He'll face a right-hander to start things in Ian Kinsler, and he's holding right-handed batters to an .059 batting average. Right-handers 4 hits in 68 at-bats.
It's been dominant. that cut fastball has a lot to do with it as well.
Just throws strikes. No free passes in front of Cabrera and Martinez. He's hoping that to face Cabrera for the final time, who's on deck, and the good news is Miggy can't tie it, or won't be able to tie it. Kane with a long run will not be able to get there. But Wade gets back in the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Royals trying to head to the break with a victory and shave a game off that Detroit lead that currently is at 7.5 games. Kinsler 0 for 3 in this one, twice popping up against Chen and flying out to center. You saw Ian for years with the Texas Rangers, an excellent second baseman there, and he's been to the postseason so many times with Texas, and right on the cusp of winning a world championship, only to be knocked off by San Francisco and St. Louis. Does Moose have enough room?
Wynn's pushing it back in.
Yes. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers. Watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Royals.com for details. Davis now facing Miguel Cabrera. Miggy is hit into a double play, hit a sacrifice fly to drive in his 75th run this year, and popped up to first. Wade just blowing it by him with a 97-mile-an-hour gas.
Now, does Miguel have bad numbers against anybody?
I don't think so.
Most of that's got to be as a starter. Those numbers off of Wade.
You know, his entire career has been ridiculous. His first major league game, Rex, you remember that? He had a 2-run walk-off home run in the 11th inning to beat Tampa Bay. That's your debut.
For Miguel Cabrera? I don't remember that.
He's 20 years old.
Jiminy Christmas.
Major league debut, he gets the game-winning walk-off home run in the 11th. And you might remember later that year, they go to the World Series, and in the National League Championship Series, he hit that big home run off Kerry Wood. I mean, he's going to sit back in his rocking chair years from now saying, grandkids, let me tell you how good I was. He was a great one, and is. Back-to-back MVPs the last 2 seasons. But Wade Davis pops him up right side, and Fonte drifting over in foul ground, and his former teammate makes the catch. So 2 out now in the 8th inning.
Now there's a catch right there that he caught in the palm that stayed in his hands. And remember, we've seen guys hit that dead spot with their glove, and the ball falls out. It didn't that time, and Fonte, he made sure to hold on to that one. That's a big out.
Now J.D. Martinez, a perfect 3 for 3 today. Knocked in his 43rd run as well, and he takes inside ball 1. Detroit has dominated the Royals this year, winning 9 of the 12 meetings. KC trying to win their first this year at home against the Tigers. Boy, he has great stuff.
That's that cutter. He'll take a little bit of velocity off, but that last second break, it really gives hitters fits.
He's allowed just 1 run over his last 26 appearances. That's 1 earned run in 28 1/3 innings. Make it 1 earned run in 29 1/3. Great job by Wade Davis holding on to that 3-run lead.
Waiter, check please.
Aoki swings, base hit right field.
Moustakas with a 2-run shot.
Oh, struck him out. Gordon swings, and that ball is gone. That's down the line. That should be 2. He struck him out. Game over. That is our #1 moment of the first half. The Royals' 10-game winning streak, and hopefully the Royals will start a new one today. Max Scherzer is Detroit's best, and he'll be going to the All-Star game. Won the Cy Young last year, but the Royals hold a 5-2 lead, trying to take the final game of this series and cut that Detroit lead to 6.5 games.
It's amazing how the tide has turned, and how the Royals went in there in June in Comerica Park for 4 games. They won the first 3, and the Tigers beat them in that last game at home and went on to go on a 17-5 run after that win. Now the Royals, if they can hold on to this one, it's their turn to go on a run when they get back off the break.
They'll go to Boston, then Chicago on the road, and then come back at the end of July to face Cleveland and Minnesota back in the American League Central.
And after that loss by the Royals in Detroit, they went on and were 8-14.
Phil Koch has Lorenzo Cain down 0-2. Lorenzo came on to pinch run in that last inning for Raul Ibanez, and he would score in the clutch base hit. Ground ball third. Castellanos. 1 out. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joe Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery hoping to head home, throw a few steaks on the Barbie, enjoy a wonderful Sunday evening, and then have some time off. Watch the boys in blue have success after the break. Strike in there. Escobar had a clutch infield hit. Just rolled one past the mound. Verlander couldn't reach it, and the shortstop couldn't make the play with Escobar's speed, and he not only got an RBI, he would later come around to score. A base hit to center field for Esky, so he is 2 for 4, and the Royals have their 9th hit of the game.
Jammed him, but he's able to fight it off and get it in there. Nice base hit. Little vibration there. You can see he didn't square it up. Love the Phantom Cam. So if he hits that ball hard, somebody'd catch it.
So sometimes vibration is good.
That's right. Soft.
Are you running him?
Absolutely.
Escobar with 22 stolen bases this year. He's only been caught 2 times, and you have a guy who hits more singles right now before Perez.
I'm hitting running.
Dyson swings. Escobar was not running, and it's strike 1.
Dyson's been doing such a great job of staying on top of the ball as Holland gets ready to come in. He's the perfect guy to put a little hit and run on with 1 out.
Escobar did not go, and there's a flare to left field. So 10 hits in the game for KC. The second by Dyson, and really the bottom of the order has been coming through, Rex. Escobar 2 hits, Dyson 2 hits. Hayes had that double back in the 3rd, and of course the intentional walk to Salvi. So the bottom 3 hitters have been on 6 times.
The luck has changed, going in the Royals' favor now. Dyson, who just missed a double by an inch down that left field line earlier in the game, got away with one there, and Suarez didn't rob him.
So speed on for Salvador Perez, and this time they will pitch to him. Ian Kroll intentionally walked him to load the bases, setting up a force, and they pitched to Aoki, who popped up. But Infante came up with the biggest hit of the day, a clutch 2-out bases loaded single that broke the 2-2 tie and gave KC a 4-2 lead. Hosmer would knock in another with a double. Salvi, of course, will be at the All-Star game on Tuesday. You can watch it on Fox. 3:30 coverage starts on Fox Sports 1, and then just switch over to Fox to watch the game, and Salvi will be starting. Jackson will run this one down. Escobar tagging at second, will go to third. The throw is to the cutoff man. I thought Dyson might tag in advance as well, but he did not. Had he decided to tag and break immediately, I think he would have made it to second base, because the throw from the center fielder was directly to the cutoff man, and the cutoff man was setting up for the throw to third.
Well, Gerard can steal second base if he wants to.
That's right.
Every Royal starter has a hit except Aoki, so he's due.
0 for 3 with the walk. We told you hitting .358 against lefties before today. Dyson does go, and they'll just give him second base. That's his 18th steal. Boy, he just kind of like exploded into second base and slid awkwardly into the bag and passed it. So a base hit would give the Royals a 5-run lead. Breaking ball misses. 2 balls, no strikes.
Aoki has such good numbers against left-handers because he does a great job of keeping that front shoulder closed. Tendency of a left-handed batter against a lefty that throws that big breaker is to pull off with his shoulder, and then you can't hit it.
Two and one. Phil Koch has bounced back well. They've stayed with him. He is such a pro. He had some hard times last year and at the beginning of this season, but he has pitched much better recently. He's not allowed a run his last 5 outings. The inning started with Kane grounding out. Escobar singled to center. Dyson singled to left. Perez with a fly ball got Escobar to third, and then Dyson ripped off second. Way low, and they're trying to tease Aoki with first base open. They do have the right-hander on deck in Fonte. There is a right-hander warming in the Detroit pen. A chopper to short. Suarez plays back. His throw's a high one, but Cabrera is able to keep his foot on the bag, and they get the final out. So the Royals will take a 5-2 lead into the into the 9th inning, where Greg Holland has been warming down in the Kansas City pen. He is the best, one of the very best in the American League, headed to the All-Star game. But first things first, he's got to save this game for KC against the first place Tigers. Got it done for KC, rallying back from a 2-0 deficit. The Royals with 6 base hits, 2 walks, 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position, and they finally were able to break through offensively against the great Detroit starting pitching in this series. And a reminder, Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery will be with you for Boulevard Royals Live right after our game. And one of the best closers comes out now looking for his 25th save. Holland closed out Wednesday's 5-4 win at Tampa Bay with 2 strikeouts in a 1-2-3 ninth.
Even though Alex Gordon will be going to the All-Star game, he won't be participating, but this battery will right here. Holland to Salvi, game over, American League wins.
You think Salvi's going 9 though?
No, I'm just dreaming.
I mean, if Greg's pitching to him, I'm hoping it gets like the 4th inning, because Salvi plays every single inning, just about every single day.
Yeah, no, I think Ned would have a problem with him going the whole game, but certainly John Farrell wouldn't mind having Salvi for the whole game.
Yeah, Salvi has played in 27 games in the last 29 days. He loves playing the game, and Torrey Hunter right now facing a 2-1 count. Hunter 0 for 3.
But it will be interesting to see how long they stay with Salvi in that game.
Foul back.
Holland spots his fastball extremely well. Go 95 to 98. He's got a nice slider that he'll use. Has command with it and a split finger.
Hunter checked his swing on a pitch low. That's been one of the keys, to the Royals' success in this game, Rex, is the fact that their pitching has been right on point. No walks, no free passes. Detroit has had to earn their runs. Hunter to right, Kane there, reaches up, 1 big out. Well, the first 2 pitchers in the game were pretty good, and Bruce Chen and Yordano Ventura. Yordano likely will get the victory if the Royals hold on here. He allowed only 1 hit and an inning and 2/3, and then handed the baseball to Wade Davis, who was his usual excellence in that 8th inning, a 1-2-3 8th. How about Bruce, though? What a great job. And he's the guy who has to fill in for Jason Vargas until Jason's back and healthy.
He keeps pitching like that. That's not a problem. He was really good.
Well, Chen threw a pitch as slow as 69 miles an hour in his curveball, and Yordano Ventura threw one as fast as 101 miles an hour. So it was quite a change, a contrast in styles and velocity. And here is Castellanos taking a swing and a miss, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. Nick has popped up and struck out twice. Once with Chen, and Ventura got him looking. In there, 1-2. Got him.
It's his finish off pitch. He can use that, or he uses his power fastball, split finger. I mean, it's one of the reasons this guy's one of the best. He's an all-star.
He now has 53 strikeouts in 34 1/3 innings. He needs a save today to tie the highest mark by a Kansas City pitcher before the All-Star break, Rex. Jeff Montgomery had 25 in 1993, a total that was matched by Joakim Soria in 2008 and 2010. So Holland continues to shine.
And just look what the Royals have done, developing a closer like Greg Holland.
A 10th round draft pick.
Right. And look at him emerge. Making himself and the Royals
look like a star.
From prospect to all-star. Comebacker to Holland. 25 saves for Greg before the All-Star break, and Eric gave him the baseball back because that will go into his memory bag as the Royals do win the final game of this series with the Detroit Tigers and cut into the lead by 6.5 games, and it's always lovely to see that go up on the board.
That's right, Casey with a W. Now it's time for the Royals to go on a run. They know it, and it's in them. They've got the pitching, and they've got the hitting. Just got to get that winning mojo going again.
They're only 3 games out of the playoff spot. We told you there are 3 teams they're chasing. One is the American League Central title, and then one of the 2 wild card spots to make it to postseason for the first time since '85. So it's great to see Slugger waving that flag around as the Royals take game 4 of this series. Salvi didn't start, but he got the finish. And Kansas City with a 5-2 victory. Let's go to Joel.
All right, Fizz, thank you very much. As we are joined right now down here on the field by Eric Hosmer, the offense finally able to break out there in that inning in a big way. Before we talk about that, I just want to ask you about the importance of this game. I know you take it one at a time, but how huge was today?
It's important. Anytime you're playing a team in the division, you got to take advantage of it. And the first 3 games didn't go as we wanted, but we wanted to get this one and go into the break heading strong and get rested up and get ready to go for the second half.
And to be able to end on a high note too, and to be able to have that win as you sit for 4 days, how much does that clear the head?
It helps a lot. You definitely don't want to go home for the All-Star break with a 4-game sweep, especially to the Tigers. So it was a good victory today. We've been getting good pitching all the whole first half pretty much. So it's time for the offense to turn up and be ready to go, and today was a good start to it.
And what do you think the key was in that big inning? Because it started off with a bunch of singles, and then suddenly you guys were able to capitalize.
Just getting that one big hit. We've had guys on base, and we hit some balls good and just had no luck for it. So for Omar to give us that big swing was huge, and anytime we hand off a lead to Greg and Wade in the bullpen, it's a pretty confident feeling for us.
Last thing, what are your expectations for this team the second half?
Just go out and play good baseball. We play good baseball. We know we have the team to put us in October, so we just got to get rested up, come out, be consistent every day, and give these fans what they're waiting to see.
It's good to be friends with Salvador because I saw him over there getting ready with the Gatorade, and he changed his mind for some reason. So congratulations on missing that and getting the win today.
Thanks for looking out for me.
Yeah, anytime. That is Eric Hosmer. Hey, we want to let him get the Gatorade bath. I think the guys are ready to get out of here, and they do so, Fizz and Hud, with the victory and a nice chance to rest over the next 4 days.
You're right, Joe, because Salvi's got a plane to catch to Minneapolis, the All-Star game. But the Royals with a big win this afternoon head to the break winners.